a spring Nyansapo. We're going to ask you to please have your seats at this time. Okay. All right, now you're not going to believe this, but please rise on your feet and let us welcome the faculty and staff of BFSA. Led by Dr. Oops McKnight.
You may be seated. Welcome, graduates, families, faculty, staff, and administration. I am thrilled to stand before you this evening as we celebrate the many accomplishments of our graduates. You all look fantastic. We have a great program planned for you. At this time, I ask that you please refer to the back of your program and join Miss Alicia Naylor and Miss Carlisha Smith in singing the Negro National Anthem. And then after we sing, Mr. Chad Jackson, BFSA President, will give our welcome.
Lift every voice and sing till earth our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Chad Jackson, President of the Black Faculty and Staff Association to the University of Alabama Administration, faculty, staff, parents, and most importantly, students. I would like to welcome you to Nyansapo. This is the 11th Kente Robing Ceremony held on the campus of the University of Alabama. This ceremony honors all students of color on every graduate level. The Black faculty and staff are so proud of our graduating students and are honored to facilitate this celebration. We host this ceremony to celebrate our students of color who have achieved a great accomplishment of graduating from the University of Alabama. Given the current social, cultural issues on campus and the world that we know and currently live in, the unique history of the university, and the fact that students of color were not allowed to receive an education just here 50 years ago. It is a great honor for any student of color to fulfill a degree here. Like many other African and African American traditions, the Black faculty and staff thought it best to commemorate this accomplishment with the Kente Robing Ceremony. We choose to call the ceremony Nyansapo because it is a Ghanaian symbol representing intelligence, patience, and ingenuity, which are all qualities that exemplify a graduate. We hope that all of the students recognize the continued legacy of progress that they carry today, tomorrow, and forever. The Nyansapo program was created to remind our students of color to always walk in the spirit of Sankofa, which is the mantra of this ceremony. Remember the past and use it to influence the future. We will now have remarks by our UA administrators. We are thankful that they have joined us today. Dr. Stuart Bell, President of the University of Alabama, Dr. Jim Dalton, Executive Vice President and Provost, Dr. Samori Pruitt, Vice President of Community Affairs, Dr. Myron Pope, Vice President for Student Life, and Dr. G. Christine Taylor, Vice President and Associate Provost for DEI. Please welcome them at this time.
Well, I'm going to repeat what Dr. Somerville said. What a great sight to see so many of our students and their families here because this is a great celebration. I see a small Big Al that's out there as well that's making sure that we celebrate in the right form. But I do want to welcome everyone from the University of Alabama for our Black Faculty and Staff Association, the Nyansapo Robing Ceremony. This has been a wonderful annual event for us since its inception, of recognizing all that our students have been able to accomplish, but also what they've been able to accomplish with so much support from all of their family. And certainly we recognize what you have done tonight, and we thank you for your support of these students as families, but also support as our students here. Certainly it's an honor to be here just to celebrate with the students and to celebrate with the families, but it's also an opportunity for me once again to thank all of our leaders in BFSA. Since the early 70s, we've been having this event, and they have been advocating for equity and inclusivity across our campus really since that time. And I do want to thank Mr. Chad Jackson, our BFSA president, for his leadership, and BFSA's dedication again to our students across this campus, as well as to our faculty and staff, to ensure that we're always working together in fulfilling our expectations, our mission across the university in all the ways that we do. The catalyst for this robing ceremony was actually a group of African American students who came together, and they wanted to promote what it meant to receive a degree from the University of Alabama and to celebrate that degree from the University of Alabama. And students, your robing really does serve as your intelligence, your ingenuity, your patience symbol, which, as Mr. Jackson said, are all part of that Nyansapo symbol and how it's characterized through that. Certainly by earning your degree from the University of Alabama, from the capstone, you have empowered yourself to be able to go out across this country and to compete with the finest students that are finishing, and with the jobs that you're going to take or the further education that you're going to pursue. You're well positioned with your degree from the University of Alabama. I want to commend you. You know, things don't just happen. This degree didn't just happen, right? Right. You guys studied pretty hard. Actually, you guys are probably still studying pretty hard because finals don't end until tomorrow. And parents, what I want you to know is just how hard that your students have worked to be here tonight. We are so proud of them. They are our future legends, legends in the making from the University of Alabama, and we could not be more proud of them. I look forward to seeing each one of you in Coleman Coliseum sometime this weekend as we cross that stage, as you receive your diploma. And yeah, we'll have masks, but we'll do some sort of a high five or something. But again, now as your path moves on from the University of Alabama, we will always be proud of you, count you as one of our family. And this celebration tonight just begins and marks the beginning of that. So thank you for your many contributions during your time on our campus. Our students not only study here, but they serve here, they serve our community, they serve other students. And I want you to know how much we appreciate that at the University of Alabama. Thank you all again. Congratulations for this evening, and of course, Roll Tide.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Dalton, Executive Vice President and Provost at the University of Alabama. First of all, I want to congratulate all our graduates out there and their families for this, these soon-to-be graduates, I'd say, for what lies ahead in the next couple days. I'm honored to join you here for the Nyansapo ceremony. On behalf of the Office of Academic Affairs, the deans of our 14 colleges, and the faculty and staff, I'd like to thank the BFSA for organizing this event and all that you do throughout the year. It's a special day, and especially for the graduates. And congratulations, you've made it. It's time to celebrate your hard work and move on to that next step. I sometimes think of a degree as a long hike, and your hike has certainly had lots of twists and turns, and you've finally reached the summit along the way. So it's time to look back at what you have achieved with your family and friends around you and celebrate. There are going to be higher peaks ahead, and we look forward to you coming back to the University of Alabama to share those with us and hopefully have some more of those here. So congratulations. Look forward to seeing you in the Coleman Coliseum over the weekend, and Roll Tide.
Good afternoon. I am a big fan of John Maxwell and leadership. And one of my favorite quotes is, "Everything rises and falls on leadership." And so I want to acknowledge Chad. I see Pam Foster, Andre, Carlton, Oops, all are past presidents of BFSA, and somehow they let me sneak into that club years and years ago. But it's great to see the great work that this organization continues to do on campus. I want to thank you all for being here, the ones who are here in person and the ones who are watching us, I think, virtually, as we recognize and honor these outstanding students in this very, very special way. We are all very proud of them, and I'm sure that the folks that are here with the students and those that are joining us virtually are equally as proud of these students, and you should be. I was sharing with a group during one of our awards program on campus last week about the numbers in terms of people with degrees in Alabama, in this country, in the world. I don't know if you know this, but only about 25% of folks in Alabama have degrees. Only about a third of Americans have degrees. And when you look worldwide, it's less than 10%. So I think most of you know that all of the positive quality of life indicators that go with you getting your degree. And you'll be beneficiaries of those. A local pastor, he passed away recently, a good friend of mine. Some of you may know him, Reverend Roy Ferguson. If you ask Roy how he was doing any day of the week, his phrase was, "Life is getting better for me every day." And for you almost graduates, given the data, life is about to get a little bit better for you as well, so congratulations to you. But the other side of those numbers, right, are that 75% of the folks in Alabama do not have a degree. And 70% of Americans don't have degrees. And 90% of the population worldwide do not. So their quality of life indicators won't be as positive as yours in many cases. And you say, well, what's your point? Well, the context of me sharing this last week was that sometimes it gets lost that the core mission of the University of Alabama is to work to improve the quality of life for folks in Alabama and beyond. I hope that as graduates of this institution, that you'll carry that spirit with you wherever you go. I can look out in this audience and I don't have to know each of you, but I can only imagine that you were probably the smartest person in your school, the smartest person in your peer group. That's why you wind up here. And so what I'm gonna say in closing, you probably have been told this and have heard this, and it's this: to whom much is given, much is required. Congratulations to all of you. We know that you will continue to make us proud through your actions to help others. Thank you.
Good evening to you. My name is Myron Pope, and I serve as the Vice President for Student Life. We're so very happy to be a part of this program this evening, and again, congratulations to all the graduates, and certainly welcome again to all the family members and friends who are here to celebrate with our students. This is always a wonderful time of the year for me, and certainly, again, being a graduate of this university 3 times over, and just having a chance to be back here after 20 years, it reminds me of my experience being here on this campus. As Chad said earlier, people of color have only been on this campus for the last 50 years. Again, thinking about back a little bit further in terms of what I saw with my mother in terms of having to go to another institution, and the pride that she experienced of me having the opportunity to come here because she did not have the opportunity to do so really stands out to me consistently. My grandmother, my great-grandmother. You are a part of a very proud legacy. You have achieved much. And again, you've got a couple more things probably that you have to take care of in terms of loose ends before you walk across the stage this weekend. But you have made a difference in terms of achieving many goals that are going to not only make a difference in your community, but also in your household and also in your workplace. Nyansapo, again, is really focused on the qualities needed to, the qualities of intelligence, ingenuity, and patience. The Division of Student Life is committed to making sure that we work with our partners across campus, specifically academic affairs, as we look at making sure that you achieve the highest level of learning inside the classroom as it relates to your discipline knowledge. But what we really focus on are all the things that go beyond that, the things that we know that employers are looking for, those leadership skills, those problem-solving skills. And I can go on down that list. But again, intelligence, ingenuity, patience, that's what this is all about. As you walk out the door with the speed of technology and the advancements in our society, don't stop learning. Keep pushing yourself. Continue to know that it's so very important as a person of color that you can't fall behind. You've got to think about how to continue to get ahead. As Dr. Pruitt mentioned, there are a very small few of the citizens of this country who possess a college degree. There's something about that sets you apart, but know that you must continue to excel in our communities. We are so very excited for you. We know that you're going to go out and be the legends that we know that you are. The lessons learned inside the classroom and outside the classroom during the time that you were here will benefit you as the next generation of leaders in our communities and in the workplace. We're here to support you. We're your campus family. Please come back and visit us. Keep us informed of how things are going for you. And realize that we will always say to you, Roll Tide.
Good afternoon to everyone here. To the BFSA, thank you so much for the opportunity. Parents, thank you for entrusting us to walk with your sons and daughters through this next phase and stage of their lives. Class of 2021, can I hear you? Because I feel you. I'm so excited for you. It just came to me today that I think I'm getting a little old. I've been doing these graduation programs for African American students since 1991. And throughout my career, I have always asked my peer group for some relevant phrases that might relate to the group I'm speaking with. And when I text people today, they're like, I'm out the loop. I'm like, this is not a good sign. So I need to get some more people in the loop. So when you leave, if there's a phrase I need to know, please send it to diversity@ua.edu. So I'm Dr. Taylor, and I'm the Vice President and Associate Provost for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And as you get ready to leave, you got a lot of packing to do. Yes, a lot of sorting to do. And I know I could go with all the places that you may go, and I'm sure there are going to be many. But I want to give you some nuggets to pack in your luggage. And these are words for your journey that I've taken and chosen to focus on words from women, because we're a couple weeks away from Mother's Day. And I'm going to start with the first one. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. 5, 6, pick up the sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, she said a big fat hen. Words of my niece, my great niece, who turned 2 years old in March on a ventilator. That's the first thing I heard her say. Tuck in your suitcase an appreciation for the small things in life, because one day they'll mean a huge thing to you. You must never ever be fearful about what you're doing when it's right. The words of Rosa Parks. Sometimes we have to take a challenge into a new and different thing, and it can be a scary thing, but don't be afraid of that thing as long as it's the right thing. Challenge is going to be a part of your journey. And I'll pull from the words of Maya Angelou. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it's had to go through to achieve the beauty. To get to your beauty, prepare for some transformation, but look forward to it. There comes a time that we've got to speak up on issues. Ida B. Wells reminds us, the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. Never be afraid to use your light. Dr. Mae Jemison, the astronaut, says, never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. Don't let them put you in their box. Stay out and do your own thing. Dare to be bold and audacious. Cicely Tyson tells us challenges make you discover things about yourself that you never really ever knew. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. Measure your fear, words of Audre Lorde. Shirley Chisholm reminds us, you don't make progress by standing on the sidelines whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing new ideas. Never be afraid to share those with others. And finally, I want to say to you, these words I got from my youngest niece. I need y'all to stay lit, stay woke, live with some fire, as she told me, graduate and secure your bag. We look forward to welcoming you back to the University of Alabama. Stay in touch, stay engaged. We're not the same now because you came. We're a better campus for it. We look forward to seeing you, look forward to your graduation. All the best, and of course, roll Tide.
Good evening, how are we? For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, and for those of you who are at the capstone for the very first time, my name is Lexis Cumbie, and it is an honor to welcome you. And I am here to present 2 poems from a book of poetry that I am reading. But first, I want to give you all a little crash course on how to listen to poetry, right? So if you hear something that you like, I want you to say, let me hear it. If you hear something that you like, I want to hear an amen, an all right, a you go girl, let's hear it. All right. So this one's a little bit easier. So I want you to put your right hand up. That's your left hand, okay, it's okay. I want you to put your left hand up, and you see that space in the middle? We're gonna get rid of that. So I want to talk a little bit about family because as we know, the only reason we are here is because of the collective support of our family, right? So this is about the saving grace of a grandmother's prayers. A grandmother's hands can do anything. My grandmother's hands make sense of the world. She sits in her favorite wicker chair and brings a needle to thread, thread to stitch, stitch to cloth, and cloth to clothing. She connects the air with her fingertips, the same fingertips that grip our back when she hugs you home. They have pulled babies into their first breaths. Her palms have held prayers that those before and for those to come. She's a master at shucking corn and has perfected the hot water cornbread on Sunday mornings. They have slid a dollar bill into the palm of a grandchild and says, into the palm of a grandchild. Her hands have fled the countryside, but her tongue hasn't. She has stories to tell. I sit and I listen as she connects needle to thread, thread to stitch, stitch to cloth, and cloth to clothing. Thank you. So I was in the foyer and I ran into one of you all's grandmothers and she says, "What do you do?" And I said, I tell stories. She goes, "You tell stories?" I said, No, not like that." And she goes, "Okay, well, I want to hear the stories you tell." And I was like, "All right, I'll take you to church. How about that?" And she says, "I specifically request that one." And so here we are. How honored am I to serve a God who gave Black to his people. We carried a gospel in our bruised palms from plantation to pulpit, picking okras and amens, with the same palms that invented rhythm with her tambourine. Yes, those palms. See how we carry a good day in our jamboree. See how we control the rain with dance. Don't Black folks' laughter sound like good news to you? Wait, don't our angels know each other? Weren't we all twice kissed by the same sun? Won't we all ride the same chariot home to glory? With tongues that hum the full stanza of a Southern Baptist hymn. This morning, I sat with my family for the first time in a very long time. My mother has us all peeling the skin off yams to soak in cinnamon. And then I hear humming. Oh, how sweet the name of Jesus. And I find myself swelling of a joy that is full and complete. Thank y'all.
Good evening. I am Tara Campbell, Office Administrator for Equal Opportunity and Title IX programs here at the University of Alabama. I am honored to introduce our speaker for the evening, Dr. Tonja Johnson. Dr. Johnson serves as Senior Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs for the University of Alabama System and is the primary system liaison to academic, student, institutional research and planning, and diversity and inclusion officials at UA, UAB, and UAH. Prior to joining the University of Alabama System, Dr. Johnson served as Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for the University of Tennessee System, based in Knoxville. Dr. Johnson began her college career here at UA in the summer of 1987 as a New York Times scholar. She earned both her bachelor's and master's degrees in mass communication in 1991 and 1996, respectively. In 2006, she earned a PhD in urban higher education from Jackson State University, where she was an Ayers Fellow in the Jake Ayers Institute for Urban Research. Additionally, she completed the Institute for Education Management at the Harvard Graduate School of Education in 2008. Among Dr. Johnson's most treasured accomplishments is having twice earned recognition as an outstanding alumna from the UA College of Communication and Information Sciences, first in her master's degree, field of public relations, and most recently in her undergraduate discipline from the Department of Journalism and Creative Media. A proud native of Butler, Alabama, Dr. Johnson and her husband, Tony, have a daughter, Tiana Gabrielle, who is finishing up her sophomore year as a film major at the American University of Paris in France. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Tonja Johnson.
Good evening. Now, I know Dr. Taylor tried to wake you all up, so you might as well just start stirring. And I'm so excited about this evening, it doesn't matter if you sit there and sleep, I'm going to go on anyway. Recognizing the previous presence of Dr. Bell and this distinguished cabinet that joins us here this evening, Mr. Jackson and the distinguished leadership and membership of the Black Faculty and Staff Association, and to you, our gifted and excellent graduates, and the devoted family members, friends, and supporters who join you, good evening to all. Let me begin by thanking Tara Rose Campbell for that introduction. You know, hearing those experiences, sometimes, you know, they can embarrass you a little bit, and It just reminds me, one, that I'm blessed, and I've been incredibly blessed. But the other thing it reminds me of, and we heard a little bit about this evening, is my late grandmother's constant admonition to her grandchildren that we should not waste the little time that we have with an idle mind or idle hands. And I think my bio reflects the fact that she was the kind of lady who believed that if you sat still too long, you were going to find trouble. And I'm not talking about good trouble, or trouble was going to find you. So she made sure that we all stayed very active and doing something constructive, even if that meant sending you out into her garden to pull weeds that weren't even there, dragging you off to choir practice, even if you weren't in the choir, and shelling peas until your thumb turned purple. Some of you may know a little bit about that, but I'm from Butler, Alabama. That being said, I am very thankful for the doors that have been opened on my behalf, and I'm honored that the opening of those doors have led me to you this evening. You know, I truly wish I had the words to fully convey to you what this opportunity to share just a few moments means to me this evening. I was saying to some earlier that of all the things that I could be asked to do in the first several months of my being here, this is probably one that means the most to me. Because ceremony and ritual are a proud part of our heritage. And by our very nature, we are a community of imparters and sharers of wisdom and knowledge. And the fact that these UA administrators and members of the Black Faculty and Staff Association would invest their time, talent, and other resources into hosting a ceremony like this should speak to those of you who will be receiving your stoles this evening that you are valuable, you are accomplished, and you are part of something bigger than yourself. My job this evening is to issue the charge and challenge to you as you celebrate the milestone that we're here to celebrate this evening and continue along your unique path and make your mark on the world. I'm sure you all have heard this said before, but on this occasion, I think that President Barack Obama's words bear repeating. Making your mark on the world is hard. If it were easy, everybody would do it, but it's not. It takes patience, it takes commitment, and it comes with plenty of failure along the way. The real test is not whether you avoid this failure, because you won't. It's whether you will let it harden or shame you into inaction, or whether you learn from it, whether you choose to persevere. My brothers and sisters, perseverance is often a choice. And my challenge to each of you today is that when you have the option, you always choose to persevere. And for heaven's sakes, if you're going to make your mark on this world, don't make it with a stick on the sands of the beach while the tide is rolling in. Make it with a jumbo Sharpie on a freshly painted wall, sign your name and a heart at the bottom, and in essence, if you're going to leave that mark, do it boldly and do it with intention. You know, I know that perseverance is a tall order when you're faced with having to step into many of the circles and circumstances that some of you will be faced with as you soldier on. And I know that even for some of you right now, it is only because of perseverance, whether your own or someone near and dear to you, and God's grace, that you have made it this far. But those of us who have come here to celebrate you today say that you can and you must press on. As you heard from my bio, I have a college-age daughter. And like most doting moms, I won't hesitate to tell you, that girl is beautiful. She is smart. And of course, as her parents, my husband and I continue to do everything that we can to ensure that she sees a bright and promising future. But I've noticed that even now, at 20 years old, and having seen many of the things that I thought children of her generation might not ever have to see, she still believes in fairy tale endings, and somehow, if she does everything right, that you'll come out on top. And while I applaud and share her idea of living a life of optimism, and I've drilled into her that she is strong and brilliant and worthy, I have also had to sadly strip her of some of her innocence over her young years, with cautions about the reality of what it takes in this world to be a thriving, successful young woman of color and how to deal with setbacks. Because, like so many of you, I know firsthand how the world works. Sometimes the good die young, and the bad guys appear to win. And you don't have to be of a particular faith to recognize that the race is not always won by the swift nor the strong, because on occasion, the fastest and the strongest runner falls. Sometimes they're tripped. And that's before they can get to the finish line. But to bring this closer to home, I know that there are some of you who may have been smarter than the person who received the award, or demonstrated more skill and promise than the person who got the job. But the fact that the outcomes that you were hoping for didn't manifest themselves in your timing must not be a reason for you to give up. You have to endure. You have to keep trying. Because you can't taste the thrill of victory if you stop running. In the words of an African proverb, not everyone who chased the zebra caught it, but he who caught it chased it. So you have to stay in the race. In the few remaining moments that I have with you this evening, having thrown just a little bit of cold water on the idea of fairy tale endings, and having issued you a challenge to persevere to the point of making your big, bold mark on the world, I only think it is fitting that I at least leave you with a few parting bits of encouragement to take with you no matter where your next journey leads you, be that more academic study, a new job, research opportunities, entrepreneurship, public service, or whatever your plans may be. I want to encourage you to raise your sights and to get in the habit of letting go of a practice that I see as a grave concern for us as people of color, and that's underestimating certain things. First and foremost, ourselves. Like I've heard it said of women, as people of color, we often underestimate our power, our reach, and our collective pull. So I'll leave you with three things that you must never underestimate as you find your purpose in this world. One, never underestimate the significance of a moment. That means, as our sister Oprah says, you must live your life consciously, being aware that each moment you breathe is a gift. Understanding that you don't have to wait for the future to move closer to your destiny. There's no better day to take another step forward than right now in this moment. I say this recognizing that good intentions are a very human aspect of our existence. But intentions always remain just that if we don't recognize the significance of certain pivotal moments in our lives when we are poised for action. Each one of you as graduates who are sitting here today, you've reached an important moment, whether this is your first degree or one of many. It's not that this moment is any better suited than any other for making up your mind to execute the life plans that are uniquely yours. It's just that in this moment, while you sit here in your academic regalia, just a few days from holding that diploma in your hand, you can better see the manifestation of your hard work and sacrifices. And maybe you're a little bit more inspired in this moment. In this moment, surrounded by these faculty and staff and your family members and friends and loved ones, you feel the warmth and pride of your alma mater, and you feel supported. In this moment, as I'm telling you here that you have what it takes to press on, as you've heard from other administrators that you can do whatever you set your mind to do and press on to that next big milestone, you might feel just a little bit more invincible. But if you underestimate the power of this moment, today can soon be forgotten, and the days after will become weeks, and the weeks months, and the months years, all complete with new challenges and complexities that are not present in this moment. So see every moment for the gift that it is. Time always passes far faster than we think. Secondly, never underestimate the gift of giving or receiving time. You know, it never fails. 2 or 3 times a week, I'm talking to or meeting with a young professional or an acquaintance of someone in my network whom I've never met before. And they're seeking personal or professional insights, and they think that I can help in some way. And now I know it might sound odd, especially with my incredibly hectic schedule, that I would devote so much time to individuals that I don't know. But I'm often intrigued at what prompts an individual to take the chance of seeking out a complete stranger for their feedback, wisdom, or guidance. And I do so because I'm reminded of how encouraged I felt when I received the gift of someone's time at a very critical moment in my life. Often, those times were like a bit of answered prayer or a testimony to God's favor in a situation where there was no real reason at all for me to expect that person to give me anything of value, let alone something as precious as time that they can't get back. I learned from those instances that time is a valuable gift, and it is one that not everyone will be willing to give you. So be reminded of how fortunate you are when someone gives you their time. Don't waste it, and pay it forward when you can by giving your time to someone else when opportunity permits. And finally, never underestimate yourself and the power of you. You know, most folks who know me know that I subscribe to the philosophy that what other people think of me is none of my business. But what I think of me is of the utmost importance. I don't worry about people overlooking and underestimating me. I consider that a competitive advantage. So when I rise up, tap you on your shoulder, and let you know that I'm there, you just didn't see me coming. But what I worry about are those who may be looking to this world for affirmation, and when they don't get it, quietly shrink into the shadows, underestimating themselves or taking a backseat to someone else because no one confirmed their talent or their worth. I'm sorry to have to say this, but more often than not, you're going to find people in this world, some of whom share your skin tone and your struggles, who are not going to affirm you. They're not going to encourage you or go out of their way to lift you up. So you're going to have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and know when the chips are down, there is a power within you that can keep you standing and prepared to face the world. But the trick is, you've got to know who you are and what you're made of before the times get hard, and build on that. Because if there is no water deep down in the well during the time of personal drought, there's nothing you can pull out but endless buckets of choking dust. If nobody else is willing to believe in you, you must then believe in yourself. Learn to be comfortable in your own skin and never underestimate your ability to change the world. Make no mistake about it, life is hard, but it is so worth the living. We all have a different road to travel, and there is a lot to weigh you down as you move along life's way. But in the words of the immortal Lena Horne, some of you, I know my grandparents know, Fred Sanford said the horn. It's not the load that breaks you down, it's how you carry it. My prayer is that you will always carry it well, remembering the roots from whence you've come. Congratulations, and roll tide.
Good evening, and thanks for coming. Now is a big thing. I am a geography professor at the university. I also serve as the faculty advisor to the African Students Association. And most of my students are here, and those who are not members are by default members. Yeah, so it is time to begin the Kente Robing Ceremony. And during this ceremony, degree candidates will receive the traditional African Kente stole to signify the completion of their academic journey. They will be personally robed by their parents or special persons in their life. Kente is an African word for ceremonial cloth, and it was developed by the Ashanti people of Ghana. The stole virtually represents the history and the values of Ghanaian people, a place of African-American ancestry. The Ashanti symbol at the top of the stole, some of them are embedded in the stole actually, represents royalty. The red stripes symbolize the blood of those who died in the struggle for independence to be where we are today. The gold stripes represent precious metals, the gold on the African continent, royalty as well as prosperity. The green stripes not only stand for the rich forests, but also they symbolize the life, planting, growth, harvesting, and harmony. We chose to call the Kente Robing Ceremony Nyansapo because it is a Ghanaian symbol that means intelligence, patience, ingenuity. After each student is robed, we will send each of them forward by collectively saying Ashe, which is an African philosophical concept that means the power to make things happen and produce change. The graduate's parents or special person will robe each student at his or her location. After all the students' names have been read, I will be leading them to say Ashe, and then we will begin the ceremony. So that's it. With that,
We are about to begin the program. I'm going to give you some instructions, if you will. If you have on your kente cloth, kindly pass it to the person who's going to stow you at this time. Yes, take it off. Okay, so the graduates will come to my right, to your left, and the significant person who's going to stow you will go to my left, your right. You all will meet in the middle of the stage. You will call the person's name. They will stow you, and you will exit the center of the stage and report to the back of the room where you see the kente cloth for your professional photo, okay? So again, my right, graduates. My left, special person. Come to the middle of the stage, call their name. They will stow you, and you exit center stage. Are we good? And if you will, I need 2 BFSA faculty, because we have some individuals who do not have a significant person to stow them, but you do have BFSA, and we will make sure that you get that taken care of. So if I could have 2 BFSA faculty, yes, Dr. McKnight, come on, that's one. Who else? Do I hear another? Dr. King? All right, let's go. All right, thank you so kindly.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Andre Denham. I'm an Associate Dean for Academic Affairs in the Graduate School, and I'll be calling the students who are receiving their doctorate degree, which is the highest degree that we are able to offer as a university. So those students that are receiving the doctorate degree, if you could start making your way to the front. Our first honoree or being robed is April Cadell. Are they going to be doing it? Yeah. How you doing? And everyone, we say Ashe. Ashe. Just a reminder, we're going down the center. Next, we have Jasmine Doricio. Ashe. Next, we have Angela Johnson. Ashe. And next we have Lavasha Sherman. Ashe.
Good evening. My name is Terica Shaw, and I have the honor and privilege to call those students who are receiving their master degrees. So all those that are receiving their master degrees, will you begin lining up on this side of the stage, please? Thank you. You can tell me. I think y'all supposed to get in alphabetical order. And if I mispronounce your name, please let me know when you come to the podium and I will make sure I say it correctly. The first name I have is Vivian Abungu. Ashe. I have Iyenio Tobong Akpan. They're not here? Okay. That's okay. I'll leave it right here. That's okay, Shad, I can leave it right here. Chris Tony Barnes. Did I say that correctly? Okay. It's Christine Barnes. I talked to Jordan. Jordan, oh, sorry. Ashe. I have Jordan Davison. Congratulations. Ashe. Shakari Garrett. Destiny Harris. Congratulations. Ashe. You just walked out. Okay, I have Charity Obuya. Oh, that was right. Thank you. Congratulations. Ashe. Devanya Richardson. Sydney Riley. Ashe. Ashley Slay. Valencia Winston. Ashe.
Hello, I'm Dr. Pamela Payne Foster, and I have the privilege of awarding and having the robing ceremony for the Bachelor of Arts students. And my accomplice here, Dr. James King, will come after me to award the Bachelor of Science degrees. So all those who are Bachelor of Arts, please line up on the right, and their partners on the left. I am a professor in the Department of Community Medicine, Population Health in the College of Community Health Sciences. So we will start with Jasmine Arnold. Ashe. Selah Bandeli Jackson.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And that graduate is a 4.0 graduate. All the graduates with the red hats are 4.0 grade point average. So an extra applause. Daryl Marie Barkley. Oops. Geneva Beckham. Congratulations. Ashe. Jalen Bonner. Ashe. Tyela Bonner. Aaliyah Brown. Congratulations, 4.0, red cap. I see the dad giving some fist bumps. Dad or husband. Ashe. Dalen Helms. Hannah Jones. Ashe. Jeffrey Kelly. Hannah King. Oh, 4.0, red cap. Thanks. Ashe. Lindsay Martin. Ashe. Ashton McAllister. Ashe. Gloria McClendon. Congratulations. Nice job. Thank you. Ashe. Caitlin McTeer. Red cap. All right, 31, sister. Ashe. Jasmine Poole. Audrey Rivers. Ashe. Destiny Sewell. Congratulations. Ashe. Madison Woods.
No, no, no.
Ashe. So we need the Bachelor's of Science to line up. Bachelor's of Science and Families. Let me add my congratulations. I'm James King. I'm the Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion in Business School. Charmaine Thrasher. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I do accept corrections on names. Ashe. Sunshine Ahmad. Ahmad. Thank you. Congratulations to you. Ashe. Shannon Anderson. That's Cynthia Moore. Cynthia Moore holding us up.
It's hard to see people in the mask, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Ashe. Thank you. Olivia Anderson.
Congratulations, my sister.
Ashe. Kelsey Abayo Oboku. Ashe. Keisha Archibald. Lauren Bell. No, that's not her. Calling in? Ashe. Daisha Black. Ashe. Alexis Brown.
Congratulations.
Honor student. Ashe. Maya Campbell. Ashe. Joe Chapman, Jr. Demetric Christian. Get your name right. Ashe. Aaron Cleveland.
It's Aron Cleveland.
Got it. It's Aron Cleveland. Thank you. Ashe. Andrea Coleman. It's Andrea, I can tell you.
No, it's Andrea.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ashe. Royce Dickerson. Congratulations. I guess I'll give you this. I was going to go with Lisa. I was going with Lisa. Ashe. Jalisa Draw. Ashe. Quantavia Ely. Clifton Etters. Endlers. Christian Endlers. Eyesight. Ashe. Thank you. Micaiah Gordon. Congratulations to you. Ashe. Christopher Hall. Congratulations to you. Thank you, sir. Ashe. Amber Harris. Noah Hawkins. Ashe.
Okay, thank you.
Cameron Honeycutt. Ashe. Charles Hurst. Ashe. Bobby Johnson. Javon Johnson. Is it John? Morgan Johnston. Congratulations. Congratulations on the death. Ashe. Thank you. Tamara Jones. Tamiria Jones. That's right, you I know. Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ashe. Dakiria Kelly. Congratulations to you. Ashe. Ebony Kelly. Dominique Lanier. Ashe. Latoya Lee. Jasmine Maynor. Ashe. Alexis Mitchell. Ashe. Ashaya Pierce. Mackenzie Smith. Ashe. Diana Spencer. Ashe. Christad Swain. Christity Swain. Thank you. Ashe. Jalen Thomas. Ashe. Kiera Tremaine. Karan Vance. Karen Vance.
So close. Hey.
We tried.
Karen, like Donna
It was
Karen.
like Karen Vance. Overthought it. Ashe. Dia Wainwright. Stella Wilson. Alan Daly III. Roderick Barshad. Ashe. Roderick Barshad.
It's the Corey Dawson.
Ja'Cory Dawson. Ashe.
All right, good evening, graduates. Please, all the graduates, would you please stand at this time? You've heard great messages and a great charge from Dr. Johnson and others, so now is your opportunity to make a commitment to that particular pledge. So this is going to be the Nyansapo Graduation Declaration, and this is going to be a call and response. I'm going to say something, and then you will repeat after me. You ready? Ready, all right. I have walked through the doors that were once closed. I embody Black excellence and have achieved greatness. I will continue to succeed throughout life, but remember to lift others as I climb. So now, graduates, if you would face your family, your friends, and those who have played the supportive role throughout your journey, and again, repeat after me. Thank you for supporting me during my academic journey thus far. I would not be where I am today without you. It takes a village to raise a child, and I thank you for being my village. Congratulations, and one more time, Ashe.
Mask off. Good evening, everyone. Let me get back to the right page. On behalf of the Black Alumni Associations, I bring you greetings. My name is Valita Rogers, and I'm a 1993 grad at the University of Alabama. Excuse me. Roll Tide, that's right. I have a BA in political science, and I got my undergraduate degree in African American Lit. All of you arts and sciences people, yeah. The University of Alabama will always hold a special place in my heart. It's where I met a lot of my lifelong friends, and I have a lot of special memories from the university, including going to the Ferg. I was here. Ferg is totally different now than when it was back in the 90s. And we used to all, in between classes, go hang out and watch soap operas. I'm sure Dr. Myron remembers that. He was here when I was here. So yeah, that used to be a fun place for all of us to go hang out. But I want to congratulate all of you today on your accomplishments that you've made. And I'd also like, I have notes everywhere. I would also like to remind you of those that came before you. Ms. Vivian Malone-Jones, Mr. James Hood, and Ms. Autherine Lucy. Without them, we would not be here tonight. They trailed the blaze for us, and we are proudly following. So give y'all, everyone a hand for them. We stand on their shoulders. And the legacy that they left for us, you should leave for those following behind you. The Black Alumni Association is here to serve you students. Our main purpose is to raise funds for scholarships. And we do that through mentoring and other programs here on campus. And I would like to, I think I saw their names, but I'm not sure if they're here. We actually have 2 recipients of our scholarships that are graduating this weekend. And it's Morgan Johnston and Diamond Crawford. Are you here tonight? Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. And I would like for you to, once you graduate, remain engaged and active in the university and in the Alumni Association. And your first year of membership is free after graduation. And we encourage you to join us, not only the Alumni Association, but to come back and give back to campus and students here and let them know that you appreciate them and show them that the Bama spirit is strong. Roll Tide, and congratulations again.
Good evening. My name is Jaron Jenkins. I am currently serving as president for BFSA Ambassadors, which is a student-led organization under the parent of BFSA Ambassadors. I'm just gonna speak real quick, give me like 3 minutes. I know everybody ready to go. Okay, so coming into college, you all and myself included, came in with idealized expectations, freedoms, and newfound responsibilities. Over the course of our college journey, sooner than later, we found out that everything wasn't gonna be smooth sailing. Maybe it was a failed class, bad breakups, bills due, or maybe it all just happened at once. It seemed like everything that could go wrong did, and you were the target. However, these obstacles had to occur for your personal development. The graduates sitting before me aren't the same person they were when they first enrolled here. Your mind is shifted. You don't do some of the same things you did before. You're better communicators. You know that you're leaving here different than when you came. And overall, you're better people. So know that you're leaving here as an improved version of yourself who can handle any situation that arises. Whenever you glance at your diploma all framed up on the wall, maybe 6 months to a year from now, I want you to think about how much you've overcome and how much you persevered through. And lastly, I'd like to say is, keep those people around you who push you to do better and be better. All of you sitting here and made it to this point with the support of someone, whether it's parents, grandparents, friends, someone supported you. It could have been financially, emotionally, someone there to tell you you're doing a good job and keep you on the right track. These are the people you want around you in your professional and personal life because they genuinely want you to succeed. As the saying goes, finding true kinship is difficult in the real world. So try to keep those people around you as you begin a new chapter. Be sure to thank those people for supporting you and being a part of your life as they want to see you become the best person that you can be. Once again, I'd like to say congratulations to the graduates. Thank you.
I will follow in Jerron's steps and be very brief. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Please indulge me momentarily. We want to thank those who have come out. Let's get a round of applause. If you will give us a wave, the administrators of the University of Alabama who are still here. BFSA's e-board is here. My name is Chad Jackson. I'm the president. Dr. Cassie Simon couldn't make it tonight. We have our treasurer, Mrs. Cynthia Moore. She's here. Wait, Simo, where's she at? Okay, she may have walked out, okay. And we have our secretary, Ms. Shanice Lee, and our parliamentarian, Ms. Lisa Young. We want to thank all of the BFSA members who are here. If you would please kindly stand so we can recognize you. Thank you. We have very special guests who have joined us as well, our campus partners. Some of the deans who are here, please stand at this time. And our other campus partners, we have Mr. Ken from the Bryant Museum, and we have Ashley Olive, who is here from the College of Continuing Studies. Please give us a greeting. All right. And we have the past president of Faculty Senate here. Please give us a wave. Thank you, Dr. Rona. All right, and most importantly, we have our students. Let's give them a round of applause. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now, wait a minute. That was cute. That was cute. That was cute. These students graduated in the most unprecedented time. Within the last year, they had to deal with things that no one else has dealt with, and they still finished. So let's try that again. All right, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. All right, hold on. That was cute, but it wasn't everybody. Because if it was a football game and they had made a touchdown, we'd be out of our seats, wailing and screaming. So let's do it for the academic students, the University of Alabama graduates. Let's give them a hand, people. And as always, to our administrators, we want to make sure that we tell Dr. Dalton, thank you. Dr. G. Christine Taylor, thank you for your support and partnership on the campus. Last minute cleanup, we do have the social media booth outside to the left. We have the soup store who is here. For those individuals who have the Black Excellent cords, stand. I've seen a few as you come through. This signifies your Black excellence. And I do want to tell you, Dr. McKnight has his too. I do want to tell you that you are the inaugural class to have the Black Excellent cord. Thank you. If you want to purchase one, they're outside. Thank you so kindly. Be safe and roll tide.